Hello, I'm GILSON. I'm taking this SEC 590 course for my student teaching. I currently have a job as a 7th grade full-time ELA teacher. Love it, having the best time. To answer the question in which ways my teaching philosophy has developed and grown throughout this student teaching journey, I'd say I had a very unique situation. I immediately got a job as a full-time teacher without any student teaching. I was thrown into teaching. So basically this whole year has been a lot of surviving, learning, applying any advice without knowing how it's gonna go at first. But it's been really, really cool to see my philosophy paper that I wrote at the beginning of my master's program and how I did apply some things and I added a lot more. It was a really thin philosophy before, and now it is a really rich and applicable philosophy. It's grown a lot as far as content and, like I said, the amount of things that I apply in my philosophy. My philosophy has always been really, really chill, be very personable, and create and establish interpersonal peer relationships with my students, because I feel like if you establish those relationships, then the class almost manages itself, because they hold each other accountable, they hold themselves accountable, because they trust you, they value you, and they respect you. So that's been really cool. As far as adding more into it, I didn't realize how much a good relationship with a student impacts how they perform in my class. That was probably my biggest realization. And also consistency. I was pretty bad with consistency at the beginning of the year, so I've really learned to value consistent expectations, rules, and conditioning those and disciplining those rules and expectations in my students. My middle school is one-to-one teaching, so each student is given a Chromebook by the school at the beginning of the year, and they are put into a Google Classroom, and that is the way that I teach. I am always on the board. I have a really cool smart board here, and that's where I present most of my material, and then show them videos is probably the biggest thing that I do. But most of the materials that they get and use are Google related, like Google Docs, Google Slides, Google Forms is how I give my assessments. So that creates this really convenient and easily accessible way to learn using technology. I grew up, through high school, I was in a very compassionate, small, tiny Christian high school. So I've definitely added those sorts of values into my teaching pedagogy and style, especially compassion, forgiveness, respect, as far as treating them how I would want to be treated as a student in their position. I do a lot of socio-emotional support, because I feel like if they feel good inside, they will perform better outside in my class. And another thing that I make sure to provide to my students is an unconditional kind of love for them, like Jesus had for all of humanity. If they feel like no matter how good their grades are, no matter if they make a mistake every day or they're a perfect student, I want them to know that they are loved by me, respected by me, and they are valued by me as their teacher.